Hey, everybody, it's Chris Aiken from the AFTERSHOCKS podcast. And I need to tell you that don't think that you just want to. You need to be on Anchor. Anchor is the place that sponsors our podcast, and we love them for it. You need to love them too. You know why? Number one, it's free. That's right. Costs you nothing to work with or have Anchor. It's the best way to make a podcast. Number two, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. No special equipment needed. Nothing. Just get it. It's quick. It's easy. Just get it, put it on your phone, boom, push a button, you're there. Number three, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple, Pocket Casts, Overcast, everywhere. Google Play, Spotify, name it, it's there. You can make money. This is important here. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Heard that? You got 3 listeners? You can make a couple of bucks. So that's a good way to get on making some cash. And finally, it is everything that you need, and I do mean everything, to make a podcast. It's all in one place. So why don't you download the free Anchor app now or go to anchor.fm and get started. That's what we're doing right here at the AFTERSHOCKS podcast. It's what you should be doing too. So sign up now for Anchor.
Prepare yourself to be blown away by the seismic sounds and scrutiny of AFTERSHOCKS Podcast with Chris Aiken and Matt Hartnett.
All right, take it away, Matt.
All right, let's rock. All right, well, welcome, ladies and gents, to AFTERSHOCKS episode number 3. And joining us today on the podcast, we've got a big-time veteran of the San Francisco Bay Area hard rock and metal scene, and he's here with us today to talk about his current band, Stoner Doom Luminaries, The Watchers, and their brand new live EP titled High and Alive, out now on Ripple Music. Vocalist, Mr. Tim Narducci. Thanks for coming on the podcast, Tim. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome, man. Well, speaking of the live album, myself, I'm a resident of the Bay Area, and I've been very fortunate to have seen you guys play live a handful of times. And the new record to me, man, it really it accentuates, if you will, the lifeblood of the band and your guys' sound. And I also believe that it really highlights really what a great guitarist you got in that band with Jeremy Von Epp and what he brings to the band. And just overall, I think it's a great audio depiction of what you can expect to hear at a Watchers show. And it's also, your guys' first release since 2018 stellar Black Abyss. So what was the impetus for putting out a live EP at this point in time in the band's career? Which, I think it's a great idea. You guys are doing it, man. I think it really captures, the essence of your whole sound. But was this something you guys have been thinking about for a while, or?
It just kind of popped up in my head. I came up with the idea. This room we play up in Santa Rosa, they have a recording studio that's upstairs. It's an incredible recording studio. So I'm good friends with the manager there, and I said, hey, would it be easy enough to, line everything in, and we try and get a live, charge us anything to it, and we took them up on it. It's a real crapshoot with those. With doing a live record, because you don't know, you don't know how you're gonna play that night, and if you're gonna capture it. Mm-hmm. But I was really stoked with it. I was just really happy with the way that Jeremy played and the whole band. Jeremy's on fire.
Yeah, he's a monster, man. He is.
So I just felt it really showcased what he does, and he does, a lot of nuances and different things that aren't on the record, and I thought that was really cool. Mm-hmm. So we're fortunate enough that it was releasable.
Yeah.
So yeah. So and the other thing too is that it's kind of a placeholder for us right now, because we do have another full length record that's in the can. Mm-hmm. It just needs to be mixed.
Okay.
So that's where we're at, But yeah, we figured it'd be a nice placeholder for the time being, till we can get around to getting this next full length up.
Yeah, no, awesome. And let's talk about just a bit about your history of music as well as the inception of the band. I mean, I know many of your fans outside of the San Francisco Bay Area may or may not be aware that the Watchers, the band themselves, is really essentially a bit of a super group of underground musicians in this area. I mean, obviously you yourself have you've enjoyed major label success back in the early 2000s with Systematic, and more recently both you and bass guitarist Cornbread were both part of Spiral Arms, a vastly underrated band that me and Chris both love. We've talked about it all the time. Freedom, man, that was such a great record, and Spiral Arms itself was a super group as well, around this area. So, I mean, and of course you got your drummer, Carter Kennedy. He was an original member of the band Orchid, who to me is that band is one of the top 5 bands ever to replicate that Black Sabbath sound without it really sounding like a complete carbon copy, of it. And then, of course, as we said, you got Jeremy in the Venting Machine, which is an amazing local thrash band here. I mean, so how did you guys all come together and create this ferocious lineup?
Well, as you know, Spiral Arms disbanded. That was the beginning of 2016. And I've known Jeremy since we got going with Systematic. So I've known Jeremy for a really long time. And I've always wanted to, do a project with him. And basically the Spiral stuff was kind of coming to a head. And Jeremy reached out to me. I guess one of Systematic song popped on his stereo, so he called me. He sent me a text, and I wrote him back, and I said, "Hey, would you be into doing something, a little bit more away from metal? Well, it'll obviously have that in it, but more kind of doom driven, hard rock type of stuff."
Mm-hmm.
And he just picked up the phone and called me, and we just said, "Okay." He's all, "Well, I'm your guitar player." Okay.
Nice.
No auditions needed, And then, I mean, that was a no-brainer. Cornbread and I are like brothers, we get along great, and we wanted to kind of head out and do our own thing. And basically with Carter, my other gig is I work, I do studio work and produce. But I was recording a band, and he came in as a session drummer, and he popped in my mind immediately. I go, well, shit, he'd be perfect for this. Coming from the background of Orchid and everything, and the stuff that he's done. So that's basically how the band came together. There was no auditions or anything like that. It was just like, okay, all kind of handpicked. Let's get in a room. Brought some song ideas in, and that was it. That was the birth of the band.
Sure. Now, Tim, for anybody that's been following along, and I have been, there's a huge jump not necessarily stylistically, but just sound-wise as a band between the EP Sabbath Highway and then Black Abyss. How much more has changed now that you guys have significant time together, a lot of shows under your belt? You guys did the national tour. How much more change has come from what we got with Black Abyss to what we're going to get with the next record?
I think with the next record, it's just time, I think it's just time spent together. And I think you kind of nailed it all on the head there. But the material's still really heavy. It's much like Black Abyss. But I think it ventures out a little bit more. There's some different melodics that are in it, and we just kind of we're just going with where it took us, basically musically. And a lot of it too with this new album. My father passed away last May, so that was this was very cathartic for me as far as writing it, lyrically. And a good portion of the song ideas and stuff like that. So it's got a lot of emotion in it. It's pretty heavy.
Right. Is it? And I write books, and I've written books about the harder shit in my life. And I'll be honest, it was really, really hard to put it out in the public eye, because then you got people that judge it and think they know and they don't know, and make opinions. For you, do you have that same thing where you not worry necessarily, but you definitely put the shields up a little bit with how people are going to react to songs that are very personal, to you?
Honestly, Chris, when I write, I don't give a fuck what people think. I mean, as hard as that sounds, I really don't. I think that's part of being an artist, is to take chances and to just do what you feel. Mm-hmm. I think that's the most important thing to do. And I think, if you're worried about what people are going to, Joe Blow from this band's going to say about your band, it's like, fuck that. But, that's not why I do it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It's for me to get off first, and then if people connect to it, then awesome,
Mm-hmm. So this is so tell me, I mean, you guys got now this is your third record you released. You got 2 EPs, you got 1 full length on Ripple Music, and Ripple, of course, is a local label here. It's really become world renowned in the stoner and doom scenes, and they've really been on the forefront of the hard rock revival in underground music over the last decade. I mean, they've helped break a slew of bands, and they really know, in my opinion, they really know how to work the record itself, the product. And they've got Ripple Fest. They do that here. They do one in Europe where they showcase other bands on the rosters. They really seem like a label that gets it, that they support the band's interactions and speak for themselves. And I mean, how much does it help when you're able to work with a team like that? That actually knows your music and your audience.
Well, first and foremost, I can pick up the phone and call Todd, the CEO of the label, and he grabs my calls, and just the open communication's fantastic. Like, hey, I got this idea. What do you think? And we brainstorm on it. But I think the thing with Todd's label is that he's a good peer, and he knows how to he just knows what he's doing, and it works. And I think a lot of people respect him, so I think that goes a long ways too. That's probably the best thing about it is just being close with the bands, and I mean, he's just a cool.
Yeah, because I mean, I see him at shows like all the time. All those bands that are on Ripple, he's always going to the shows locally. He just really seems like he really supports the bands, and maybe gives a little more attention to what he's doing than a lot of other labels do. I mean, from what I've seen, and
and the big thing with Ripple is they him and Corinne, they consider you family. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So there's a little bit more of that connection. I think, when I was on Elektra Records, which was great, through Lars's label back in 2000, mm-hmm. The budgets were great, but there were budgets back then. Mm-hmm. You could do a lot. You could do a lot with them, but you don't have that necessarily that same connection. You don't have that same family connection. Mm-hmm. and that speaks volumes, I think.
Sure. Now, Tim, certainly anybody that follows the Watchers knows that first and foremost, the Watchers is a live band. It's what you guys do. It's what you guys do best. Obviously, that's why you're putting out High and Alive, because it does feature what you do best. And, you guys, like everybody else, you're shut down by this COVID nonsense. How does this affect not only this release, but you guys as a band moving forward and progressing and, setting yourself up for the next record?
Well, basically we're going to have to wait, I mean, nobody's playing out live. So, I mean, I wanted to get this full length out this year. That was my full intention, because we recorded the record last year, over the summer. But my intention was to try and get it out, in the fall, but, there's really no way to support it. So we're going to have to wait. So it's just, I think all all the bands are in the same boat right now, which really sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think we're just gonna have to wait it out, and then when the time's right, get it out there.
Sure. Will it? Do you think it'll change the way that you interact with fans and interact at shows, or are you still going to be that guy that goes right from the stage to the booth and shakes hands and takes pictures and gives hugs and all that?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know yet. I think we're really in a too early to tell. It's just too early to tell. I mean, I'd love for it to go back to the way it was, but I just don't know.
So, Tim, before you mentioned briefly that you do engineer and production work here in the Bay Area. Obviously, for people that don't know, you co-produced Forbidden's last album, Omega Wave, back in 2010. You obviously did all the Spiral Arms albums, and you've also worked on a couple of records from another great band around here, Hard Rockers, Zed. You're also label mates with you on Ripple there. Is that something that you continue to plan on doing? Because I got to say, man, just from listening, to your work, you've really got a great ear and I think knack for putting out really very big sounding records. I mean, both Omega Wave and Zed's Trouble in Eden, they stick out to me as just real big sounding records that I think are phenomenal. Is that something you want to continue to do going forward?
Yeah, I'll always produce. I mean, that's just something I love to do. Again, it's this whole COVID thing. I mean, I've been sitting at home for the last 7 weeks, I think. I'm right in the middle of a double album with a great artist named Thaddeus Gonzalez.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've heard of them. Yeah, they're good, man. Yeah.
Yeah, Electric Sister. He's got a couple of records out. But he came to me over the summer. And he said, "Hey man, let's do an album," and we're not done tracking it yet, So I'm stuck here and I can't do anything. So it's I think everybody's in the same boat unless you're essential,
True.
Yeah, I will probably continue doing that till I die, and same thing with music. I think my combination of work that I do with playing live and the original music and whatnot and the studio stuff will just be something. It's just what I do,
Mm-hmm.
So it just sucks because we don't know how this is all going to play out. You keep reading stuff and seeing that. Yeah, it's going to be a year before shows, and it's just, I don't know. It's just crazy. But hopefully I can get back into the studio. That's my first step,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping it's within the next few weeks or so I can get back in and start doing my thing.
Sure. Cool. All right, Tim, here's the question of the day. How the hell did you convince your old lady to let you grow and keep that beard?
Well, as you know, Cornbread and I and Carter, we do a ZZ Top tribute.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Called Beer Drink Help. So I don't have an option, man. I mean, it's, the beard helps pay the bills. You know what I mean? So yeah, and we refuse to wear phony beards. So.
Did she give you blowback about it when you first started growing it out?
No. My wife's awesome. She supported me. I've been with her since '98, and so she was there through all the systematic stuff. She's been with me through my whole musical career, and she's 100% supportive of whatever I do. No spike on this end, man.
Well, with the beard and with me with the hair, I'm wondering if she has a like-minded sister that's available.
If she did, I'd point her your way, man.
Another question of the day, Tim. I mean, we got two of them. The other one, obviously, this is a little it's away from talking about the Watchers, but we're both well aware that there is an unreleased Spiral Arms record out there. Is there any way possible sometime in the it could be whatever years from now. You think that thing will ever see the light of day?
I think it can. We did that with Eric Kretz from Stone Temple Pilots down at his studio in LA. And yeah, man, that one needs to be mixed too. So, there's just a few more steps that we would have to take to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Alarm saying that wasn't such a great ending to that story. I mean, there was Craig was pretty upset, and we kind of had a falling out, as you know, and yeah, it just really depends, It just really depends, because right now my focus is so much on the Watchers.
Sure.
And the other, I'm looking to re-release some old records that I have the masters to that I got back. So I'm going to do my own little umbrella thing and start getting some like digital release stuff up that people couldn't get, like the White Witch Canyon stuff. I don't know if you're familiar with that at all.
Yes, I do. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's not even available anywhere. I mean, all the vinyl of that sold out in like 2 weeks or something from this German record company called Cosmic Artifacts.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no digital copy of that out there. The only thing is just stuff people put up on YouTube. But that's one release I'm going to do. I'm looking at re-releasing the Freedom record. I got that back from SPB.
Very nice.
Yeah. So there's a couple of options. But yeah, we'll see how it plays out, man. We'll see how it plays out.
Awesome. That's great.
Cool. Well, Tim, the new record for people that want to get it, which should be everybody listening, is High and Alive. It is the Watchers. Where should people go online to keep up with the band and to get the record and all that and all the plugs, so to speak?
Yes. Thank you. It's let's see, the Watchers on Facebook. That's kind of our main hub. We have the Watchers. And to pick up the record, you can get it on iTunes. You can get it at Bandcamp. Who else had it? Would you send me the Google suggestion?
Google Play.
Where did you?
Yeah, that was
Play.
Yeah, that was Google Play recommended that I listen to the Watchers. I was like, gee, thank you. Good idea.
Awesome. That was great. You sent that to me. Yeah. You're basically your digital formats. It should be up there.
Cool.
You can grab it. And I think it's, what is it, like $5 or something like that. It's super cheap. So yeah. So I would look on those formats, and you should be able to find it there. It should be good to go.
Awesome. Very good, man. So, I mean, go ahead. I guess we'll go ahead and end this with a song off of High and Alive. Go ahead and pick one, Tim, and we'll end the podcast with that song.
Okay. What's a good one here? Just the Needle. Why don't we do that? I pitched that one out there. We put a video of that up not too long ago. If you wouldn't mind playing that, that'd be rad.
Absolutely. We shall. All right. Well, Tim, man, hey, thanks so much again, man. We appreciate it. And yeah, once again, everybody look out for the Watchers, their new live EP titled High and Alive, out on Ripple now. And here's the song Just a Needle. Thanks for listening to Aftershocks. For more episodes, go to our website at www.aftershockspodcast.com. Visit us on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages for more news and information on the podcast. And be sure to subscribe, listen to, and review all episodes on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all other podcast platforms. For your music listening pleasure, visit our website or go to www.shockwavesradio.com. For all comments and questions, please email us at info@aftershockspodcast.com.